No sound.
Good evening to everyone. We call the Board of Education for the Weldon City Schools to order at 7:09 p.m. This time, we'll prepare to read our mission statement. Ask if everybody would. That. Yep. All right, can we read together, please? The mission of the Weldon City School District is to create and maintain a highly effective educational system in which every student receives the highest quality education. School employees and parents work together to prepare students to become caring, competent, and responsible citizens who value education as a lifelong process. Thank you so much. This time, I'll ask board members if you would review our printed agenda for tonight. We do have 7 items. I would ask board members that we would go to number 8 and that we would add letter C, purchase of 2 work trucks. It's on the consent agenda, and before we actually approve that, we'll ask Ms. Dameron to give us updated information concerning that.
Yes, sir. I'd like to add Andrew Jackson School.
All right. Andrew Jackson School, our property, Andrew Jackson. Mr. Williams, would you be all right with that if we make that 5D under discussion? All right. So also if we would add Andrew Jackson. Property in Halifax House. So we'll have that for discussion under letter D. Excuse me, it will become 5D under discussion. So we have 5D, Andrew Jackson, property in Halifax. 8C, purchase of 2 work trucks. Anything else? All right, if not, motion is in order to approve our agenda as it has been amended to add the 2 said items.
Motion that we approve our agenda with the added 2 items.
Thank you so much. The motion has been moved by Mrs. Donna Harrison and seconded by Mr. James Williams that we approve our agenda for tonight with the 2 additions that have been made to our agenda. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Mrs. Jenkins?
Aye.
O.B. Sykes, aye. Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Bird Robinson, is she on? Ms. Kay Robinson?
Aye.
Okay, let the record reflect unanimous approval of our agenda for tonight. It has been amended by the 5 members present. Thank you so much. Echo is, yeah, something's turned up too loud. For the TV. Okay. Can we turn the volume down on the television? Or turn the volume all the way down?
If you turn it down, though, will you be able to hear the board members when they talk? We haven't had an echo before. I don't know.
No, I think this is echoing to us. I don't think it's echoing to live stream. I mean, I don't think it would do
No.
anything to stop the. Us
But I
from
mean, if you
hearing
turn the
live.
volume down, you can't hear the board.
On the TV, not on the what he's controlling.
I mean, when your virtual board members speak, how will you hear them if you turn the volume?
You got it? You can turn it down some. I got you. Okay. I'm saying what you're saying.
Is the TV too close to the microphone? So we'll move the TV down?
I think that'll work. Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
mine.
echo is gone now. Okay, okay. All right. Thank you so much. We've made that minor adjustment. Please work with us. Next on our agenda is approval of minutes, November 18th, 2021, December 16th, 2021, and January the 20th, 2022.
I make a motion to approve the minutes, November the 18th, 2021. December 16th, 2021 minutes, and January 20th, 2022.
Second.
Motion has been moved by Mrs. Jenkins and seconded by Mrs. Harrison that we approve the minutes from the aforementioned dates. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Mrs. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. K. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Jenkins,
Aye.
no D Sykes, aye. Ms. Bird Robinson still in on? Okay, all right. Let the record reflect unanimous approval by the 5 board members present at this time. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to number 4.
Good evening. Board Chair Kevin Sykes, Vice Chair, Ms. Tony Bird Robinson, Jenkins, Ms. Harrison, Williams, and in her absence, Ms. Hale. I first like to start my report simply by saying thank you to the board members for selecting me as their interim superintendent. Tonight will be my last board meeting serving as your interim superintendent. And it has been a great pleasure to become a part of the Weldon City Schools family and community. Every decision, every action that I have taken over the last few months has been done in the name of doing the best thing for the children. It is important to me that every child in Weldon City Schools has an opportunity to be successful. It is also important to me that every teacher, every custodian, every cafeteria worker, every teacher assistant, every employee is treated fairly and just across the district. I have heard from parents, some happy, some unhappy. I have heard from teachers, some happy and some unhappy. But at the end of every conference that I have had with a parent or a teacher, if they're honest with themselves, they will say I was fair and consistent in the decisions that I made in rendering a decision in the situation that they were involved in. Weldon is a wonderful small district. I keep reminding people 4 schools, and they are closed schools. I call the principals my fearless, awesome charger leaders. And they're so close that I can text them. They'll be glad not to get text from me probably, but I can text them in the morning. So for me, it has been a great experience. The things that I've tried to do in Weldon in the last few months had nothing to do with Karen Dameron. They had to do with efficiency, it had to do with accountability, and it had to do with raising the expectation for adults and children. So I hope that my time here has been beneficial to you as parents, to students, and the community. And I greatly appreciate the board for giving me the opportunity to serve as your interim superintendent. And I want to thank you all for your support. I'll be around, but just not in that interim superintendent role. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dameron. I'll move right along. Before I say anything, Ms. Jenkins asked if she could have word before we go any further. So I'm gonna ask if Ms. Jenkins would share with us some comments that she has at this time.
Good evening to everybody.
Evening.
I just wanted to of the loss of my sister last month. I want to thank my board, the interim superintendent, and all of the staff and everyone that was praying for me, and the cards and that I had sent to me. So I just want to thank all of y'all because I love Wellness City Schools. I really do. And I just think because we's like a family here. And you know, when something happens, you really know who your friends are. And I just want to say, I thank you all, every one of you. But like I say, your prayers, your cards that I got, and I just want to thank you. That's all I can say. All right.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jenkins. And of course, your presence was missed the end of January, but we know you were with your family. And of course, you had our thoughts and prayers. We wanted you to know, Ms. Jenkins, that we care for you and your family. And just as you said, when things happen, it's good that you can lean on people that you have to support you. So we're still praying for you and your family as you all continue to adjust to the transition and passing of your loved one. Let me give brief comments tonight to each and every one of you. Thank you, Weldon City Schools, for your continued support as we strive to move forward, as we strive to do things in a clear, concise, and fair manner. Let me say happy birthday to all of our students that are celebrating a birthday in the month of February, and all of our staff as well, parents and stakeholders. Hope that you have had a very happy birthday, or you will have a very happy birthday if your birthday has not come just yet. Also, let me just share very quickly, I don't recall seeing this, in speaking with our athletic director. I don't see Coach Lynch here tonight. He informed me earlier today, and I know we're going to have some recognitions tonight, but he informed me today that Weldon City Schools, because of the game that we played on Monday, in spite of some turbulence that took place, that our high school, our JV, not JV, our varsity, our girls, and our JV, the athletic department on the high school level, he informed me that he was informed that they are going to the playoffs. And so we want to congratulate them. They're going to the playoffs in the conference, and thank them. And we're going to have recognition tonight, if my memory serves me correctly, from our middle school as well. I'm not going to take that thunder. We're going to clap for them when we get to that particular point. But just want to say that Weldon City Schools, our student athletes, and we say student athletes, we do not put athleticism over academics. They are students first. Academics come first, and we certainly appreciate them being multi-talented and keeping their grades at the level that is productive for their future, and also showing their ability within athletics. So we certainly want to say that tonight and want to give a big shout out. And I think our school district deserves a round of applause for our student athletes. I close with these words. Ms. Dameron has been a jewel to us in Weldon City Schools. She helped us through our period of the HR department, and then she became our interim superintendent. And I'm just going to tell you, this woman has been the clear example of what being multi-talented is all about. She has been serving as our interim superintendent, our HR director, and she has been doing that without an assistant. She has been working very, very hard within our school district. And I'm not scared to highly recommend or say to anybody anywhere that Ms. Dameron is one of the best superintendents I've ever seen. I say that with great respect and humility. She's one of the very best. And to the employees in our central office, thank you so much for gravitating towards Ms. Dameron. And I know some of the things that we have evolved and become more proficient in. We understand that it may have been a little taxing and you know, some adjusting needed to be done. But to our employees, I mean, from our custodians all the way up to our central office staff, our cafeteria workers, our bus drivers, our finance department, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Thank you so much for working with Ms. Dameron in order to help navigate this ship that is called Weldon City School District. And Ms. Dameron, as you said, you're going to be around, and we want you to be around. You have made your footprints in the sand here in Weldon, and we are very, very appreciative. And certainly, we're glad to know that we have a friend in Bertie County. All right. Thank you so much, and thank you, Ms. Dameron, for assisting and aiding us at a very pivotal time, a very pivotal point in our school district. Thank you so very, very much. We're going to move forward with our district accreditation process. Dr. Carpenter, Dr. Wendy Carpenter. All right, she's coming.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Board Chair, Reverend Sykes, board members, Vice Chair, Ms. Burt Robinson, Ms. Robinson, Ms. Jenkins, Ms. Harris, and Mr. Williams, Interim Superintendent, Ms. Dameron, and community members. This evening, I am here to present information about the accreditation process. Weldon City Schools is excited to host an accreditation review for our district with Cognia, better known as SACS and Advanced Ed. It's an internationally recognized organization that is committed to helping Weldon City Schools with continuous improvement. Why is accreditation important? Accreditation is important because it serves as recognition that Weldon City Schools will meet and continue to meet high quality standards, engage in continuous improvement, and produce results that are sustainable. What are the benefits for going through the accreditation process? Well, some of the benefits include we will have an external group of educators around the country that are certified through Cognia to give us a point of view on our district strengths and areas of improvement. It's also beneficial to do an accreditation process because it's going to ensure that our credentials for our students, such as their credits, their courses, and grade level placements, And of course, their diplomas have the credentials that they need to have choices after high school and to seek post-secondary placements. The process. This process for accreditation is going to occur every 6 years. It used to be 5 years, but now it's 6 years. The district accreditation will begin during the 2023 and 2024 school year. But we have to start the process now, and you may be wondering why. Because our schools are accredited now until 2024. Instead of seeking individual school accreditation by the end of 2024, we have opted to apply for district accreditation by July 2024, which will keep our schools accredited. District accreditation equals accreditation for our schools. And right now we have over a year and a half to actually achieve this process. So by April 2024, I have already met with the Cognia review team. And by April 2024, we will complete a self-assessment with the district office staff. That is going to include us looking within our district, self-assessing ourselves, collecting data, entering demographic information about our school system, writing a summary about our findings, looking at our ratings when it comes to growth, engagement with our family and our schools and our communities and leadership and things of that nature. And also writing a reflection on areas of improvement and strength. We also gonna be working with our stakeholders, looking at surveys, asking our parents, our teachers, our families to take surveys, have focus groups and interviews with our students and things of that nature to get more information to help us with our self-assessment. And then between August of 22 and July 2023, we will have a Cognia lead reviewer who will come in and help us to complete our readiness review. Readiness means they will work with us so that we can get ready for the accreditation that will start between July 2023 and July 2024. This will be a 3-day process. They will come in, the external team will come in and do the same things that we're going to do for our self-assessment. They're going to meet with different stakeholders, surveys, focus groups, and interviews. And at the end of their visit, they're going to give us feedback, tell us what their findings are. And this is going to start our process to create a strategic plan so we can start aligning the district plan with our individual school plans. And then we can going to continue to collect data, evidence over time, and hopefully this will lead to our district accreditation status for our district. Any questions?
Any questions, board members? Board members online, do you have any questions?
No.
Dr. Carpenter, thank you so much for this presentation tonight. And thank you for being time conscious and time sensitive. And we're not waiting until the last minute. You are already ahead of the game. Thank you so very, very much. All right, we're going to move on now with letter D as far as our recognitions are concerned. Oh, okay, go ahead. Ms. Evans. Just trying to follow my agenda here.
If you will recall, January, we were not able to keep face to face because the weather was not out. There allow well to go and recognize before so tonight we would like to with a token of our appreciation, let you know just how much we greatly appreciate and particularly your support, your pushes, your yes answers, your no answers, your why questions. All of that has been a great big support for us. And so tonight, we have a little package for you all. And then there's a big one on the bottom.
All right.
James Williams.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Ms. Brown.
Donna Harris. Now, somebody has to open there, so, you know, let some stuff out.
Oh, I open mine.
Somebody to open it up.
Oh, okay. You got it, son?
I wanna
You're
thank
not gonna be like my wife and my sister. They don't be careful with the bowls. I want my bowls back. Somebody saying that now. I didn't want to mess up the bowl.
And we want you to look for the
Try
part.
not to leave no trash.
When you go to your school board meeting, we want you to look.
Good night. Good night.
So they can see where you come from. And
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
then you gotta open small restaurants.
This one is up here tight. All right. My name tag?
On behalf of the Weldon City Schools Central Office staff, and across the district, we wanted you all to know how much we greatly appreciate all that you do, the time that you give to support the schools and the children across the Weldon City Schools District. And we thank you so much.
All right. And since this is well done, well done. We appreciate it. Well, I appreciate it. I think every board member, they've said thank you. They appreciate it as well. Thank you all so much. All right. Ms. Campbell.
Good evening.
Evening.
Reverend Sites, Board Chair, Ms. Burt Robinson, Co-Chair, Ms. Dameron, Interim Superintendent, Dr. Sawyer, and board members and guests. It is with pleasure that I stand here this evening to make this presentation to Ms. Melanie Board. Ms. Board stepped out on, as she always tell me, she stepped out on faith when I presented the opportunity to her to attend a NASPO Academy training. And tonight I present to her her certificate again that she received last week at the NASPO conference. And her certificate reads, the Executive Council of the North Carolina Association of School Business Officials and the faculty of the North Carolina NASPO School Business Management Academy are honored to present, certify that Melanie Board has successfully completed all requirements of the comprehensive training program and hereby awarded certificate from the NASPO Specialist Academy this 10th day of December 2021. Ms. Boyd has assured me that she's going on to the next step, to the management class, and hopefully on to the director class. Ms. Boyd, if you would, please come forward. And I'm greatly appreciative of everything that Ms. Boyd has done.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Campbell and Ms. Boyd. Both of them are working hand to hand in our finance department. Thank you so very, very much for the contribution that both of you continue to make towards our school district. All right, Director of Transportation, Ms. Dameron, that's you again.
Yes, tonight I'd like to introduce to you all, Mr. Anthony Freeman. Mr. Freeman was approved at the last month's board meeting, but we started a new practice in making sure that we bring our leadership before the board and the community. So Mr. Freeman, if you'll kind of come forward so everybody can see who you are.
All right.
Mr. Freeman comes to us with lots of transportation experience. Actually, he owns his own trucking business, a repair business. And so we feel like he is going to be an asset to our school system. We joked with him this week. The first week he came, he had to start putting on belts on buses. So he has started his work very early. But we are happy to have him in Weldon. We greatly appreciate the work and knowledge and skill that he brings to the district. And we're looking forward to all of our vehicles being in top-notch shape and being on point. So thank you, Mr. Freeman.
Yeah. Ms. Austin now. Ms. Terry Austin asked if she would come with schools and community.
Good evening.
Evening.
With all respect to our board chair,
Good
our
evening.
vice chair and board members, superintendent, interim superintendent. I'm here before you tonight to give recognition to our students, parents, and I said parents. Did y'all hear that? And employee of the month. And it's a great joy to do it tonight. I want to first of all start off with thanking the parents for submitting the photos to us for Student of the Month to share with our community that are watching. But we want to start off with Weldon Elementary School. We have Jakira Jackson. If she would please come and stand here at the front. Little Miss Jackson is a first grader there at Weldon Elementary Global Academy, who highlights outstanding attitude, leadership, and she's notable consideration towards others. Her parents are Kiara Tillery and Jermaine Jackson. But Weldon Elementary School says she's a joy to have in class. She works very hard on class assignments and her homework. She's always eager to learn and outgoing and enjoying helping her teachers as well as classmates. Congratulations, Jakira. Job well done. If we can have Isaiah McKelvin, is Isaiah here? To join her. At Weldon Middle School, who has also exemplifies outstanding attitude, personal development, and individual's achievements. His parents are Linda Johnson and Delvon McKelvin. He's a hardworking student who's respectful to his teacher, who also gets along well with his classmates. He has overcome many obstacles during the pandemic presented to become a stellar and focused student. He is also a joy to teach and a model scholar. For so many other reasons, he's well deserving of this honor to be Student of the Month. Let's give him a hand. For Weldon STEM High School, we have 10th grade, Miss Letitia Briggs. Miss Briggs, come on up. With outstanding grades, outstanding attitude and disposition, and exemplary character. Her parents are Laura Briggs and Mr. Alfonso Alston. She's been recommended because she's known as Abby around school. Abby is outgoing and always willing to assist with anything that is needed around campus as well as in the community. She's maintaining her status on the AB honor roll and extends her level of ability with a pleasant demeanor and independence. Again, she is a joy to have in the classroom and serves as a complement to the student body as her efforts are constantly exemplified through positive gestures. Let's continue to give her a hand. We have Roanoke Valley Early College 10th grade Jalen Lattimore. It's Jalen. Outstanding attitude and individual achievement. His parents are Sonia Richardson and Donald Richardson. He's very reserved and a quiet student who does exactly what he's asked to do. He's an example of a productive youth who displays good character and excellence in academics, which is always positive examples for his peers to emulate. Jalen has also demonstrated great discipline and focus as he is excelling in both of his high school and college classes currently. The school is excited that Jalen is their student of the month for Roanoke Valley Early College. So we have plaques as well as each one of the students will be treated to dinner and a movie. The dinner and the And let me make a correction. Ms. Briggs is 11th grader. She's a junior. Let's make that right. So as they're taking photos, our maintenance department may have completed the task today, but if not, tomorrow, each student will have a sign put in their yard so that the community will know that your child is student of the month. So if you're afraid we have the wrong address, please check with me before you go to make sure that we have your correct address, okay? But you should have received letters and everything. So we know parent engagement is the success to student achievement. And I was tickled this month. To see how the presentations came about. We've had this for twice, I believe, this school year. When I received the parent of the month, I'm gonna go ahead and say, at first I was like, no, we've never had more than one parent of the month submitted. I told the person, I was like, no, we've got to regroup. We can't have a one. And then I thought, why do we have to have just one? So our parents of the month, for the month of February, I am told that when one comes, the other comes. When the emails come, both of them in on the email. When the conversations come, both of them are on the conversation. So then I thought, this is a perfect model for us to see what parent involvement looks like. But did you notice, I also want to say that our student of the month, if you would please stand for with me, go, Jalen. Jalen, can you come up and stand, please? He's quiet and reserved.
Yes, he is.
But the proof in the pudding is Mr. and Mrs. Richardson, which is Donald and Sonia Richardson. Would you please come forward? A pleasure to say that we are recognizing both parents this evening as Parents of the Month. And I think it's also due to say that their child is also Student of the Month at Roanoke Valley Early College. Can we give them an extra hand? And also, Mr. and Mrs. Richardson, you will receive a sign to go in your yard as well. So your sign this month, this yard this month will contain 2 signs recognizing you as parents as well as the student.
It's couple real good, real good. I'm trying to get ready to pay as well.
Thank you so much. So now to our Employee of the Month. And if we can ask Ms. LaTanya Vincent to please come forward. Ms. Vincent is an outstanding teacher that is warm, accessible, enthusiastic, and caring. She makes herself available to students and parents who needs her. She is involved in committees and activities around the school with an unwavering commitment to her students. She is a great teacher who cares about her students. She was nominated on behalf of Weldon Elementary Global Academy, Mrs. LaTanya Vincent. Ms. Vincent also will receive a yard sign to let her community know that she is the Employee of the Month for Weldon City Schools, as well as she has a gift card in order to take a friendly trip to Walmart. I want to thank you for allowing me to share these wonderful, outstanding individuals of Weldon City Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Austin, and congratulations to our Students of the Month, Parents of the Month, and Employee of the Month. All right. Moving on to letter E now, our HVAC project is Mr. Turner and Mr. Campbell.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm Steve Campbell with Progressive Design Collaborative. We're consulting engineers that were hired by the district to design HVAC project upgrades at 2 facilities that were recently publicly bid. The first project was the adding air conditioning to Weldon High School and the gymnasium. We received 2 public bid openings. It took us a few bid openings to keep within the laws, but we were able to get it done. We received 2 bids. The first one from Baker Mechanical for $840,000, and the second from Allred Mechanical for $1,122,000. Therefore, Baker Mechanical was the lowest bidder on that project. They are a mechanical contractor that we've worked with for over 20 years out of Wilson, very reputable contractor. that's done work for us, like I said, for over 20 years and across the state. The second project was at the Weldon Elementary School. It consisted of replacing numerous rooftop equipment and upgrading controls for better energy efficiency and air quality control. And there again, we had two bidders that were publicly read aloud, and Baker Mechanical had a bid price of $377,000. And All Red Mechanical had a base bid price of $472,820. So there again, Baker Mechanical was the low bidder for that project. Are there any questions about that process and those projects? And from a general timeline, we all know that equipment is hard to get these days. So once the contract is executed by the board, we will order the equipment, which will take a little bit. And due to the equipment deliveries, the projects will not be actually constructed and completed until probably September or October of this year. We will schedule work around with Mr. Turner, maintain kid safety. Stuff will have to be done on the weekends at the elementary school. There'll be no crane lifts or anything during school times. We'll work through to do all that, but it will take a while to see work actually being done. At the high school, all the ductwork and everything inside the school will be completed over the summer. It'll be ready for the equipment to be set when it comes, whenever that may be. It's hard to tell. It changes monthly on getting equipment right now. Yes, sir.
What is the one that comes with HVAC? Standard, warranty and.
So you get a 1-year bumper to bumper warranty on parts and labor as part of the contract. And then you get a 5-year compressor warranty for the HVAC equipment itself. The heat exchangers are 10-year heat exchangers. Yes. Yes, sir. 1-year labor. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as part of the closeout of the project, when we get to the end of it, we have a maintenance and operation manual. All the warranties will be there. Of course, it'll be digital and paper copies. We'll have all that and document that when the warranties stop and when they're ended, and you'll have all that information.
It's been a while since I've seen you. Just want to confirm, you're going to use the contract documents that we've been using on the other projects?
Yes,
Okay.
the front ends and everything were brought over.
Well, okay, perfect.
Yep,
Thank
we
you.
just drug them right there. Yep.
That's why they had to bid it twice.
Yes, we
Yeah.
had to do
is
that
the-
twice.
That's
and-
the rule in North Carolina, the law in North Carolina.
Correct. And everything was advertised twice on the HubSco website for minority business participation as well. So all that was done to keep up to the standards. And there is a bid coming up for the roofing of the front lobby at the high school as well. That should be bidding in March. So we'll get that price in March and then move forward with that work as well.
Questions? I can see you shaking the head at some point. Can y'all hear me? No, that was me. I hit my mic. Ms. Kay Robinson and Ms. Bird Robinson, do y'all have any comments for Mr. Campbell?
No.
Okay. All right. Does this require your approval tonight?
Yes, you would need to, yeah, so they can proceed. This would
Okay.
need to be approved. Yes, you would need a motion. Yeah.
And board members, I assume that we're looking at Baker mechanical, correct?
For
Yeah.
both projects.
Yes, both projects.
And you can do one motion, just to make it simple.
Right. A motion is in order that we go with Baker Mechanical for the bids for our high school gymnasium building for HVAC and our elementary school building for HVAC upgrades for both. Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we go with Baker Mechanic for the Regal, Global Academy, and Weldon High School, the Real Academy.
Motion has been moved by Mr. Williams and seconded by Mrs. Harrison that we approve Baker Mechanical bids for the HVAC upgrades for both our elementary school building and our Weldon High School gymnasium building. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion or unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. Bird Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Kay Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Jenkins, Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Let the record reflect unanimous approval of these bids for the work for the said projects by the 6 board members present. And before we go any further, we've been talking about this for a long time. Glad that we finally are gonna get some central heat and air in that gymnasium and our elementary school. We've been talking about it a long time. It won't be in this school year, but it will be in this calendar year.
Yes, sir.
So we're certainly looking forward to that. Thank you, fellow board members. We finally on the move with this. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Right.
I'd like to say thank you, everybody, for helping me out on that. I'm ready for it to get started too. And I appreciate what y'all been doing on that.
All right.
For to get cranked up too. Now, what he didn't mention, we're gonna try to get elementary going first to get those things done as break right now. So that project be done as quick as it can. And like Steve said, it's gonna be an issue getting the equipment, but we're gonna try to get that done first. So we know nothing's working over there in 2 places. So want to get that started first if possible.
All right.
And we're just trying to keep everything going. I appreciate what y'all done.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
Moving forward. Campbell. Excuse me. I forgot. I guess we save this recognition for last so we can give some attention to it for our middle school. Please forgive us for overlooking that. I was looking at my old agenda rather than my revamped agenda, and I looked over the recognition for our middle school, but we're going to do that right now before we go any further.
Thank you. And forgive me for, my slide wasn't working, so I missed the slide. So forgive me, Weldon Middle School, boys basketball team. So let's give them a shout out, y'all. That's Charger Pride. Excited that our boys basketball team are the co-champions of the Roanoke Middle School Athletic Conference.
Yeah.
So with further ado, I'm gonna ask the athletic director from Weldon Middle School to come up along with his designees to introduce our teams. And as they come up, I would like for the young men to please stand in the front, because of course we've got to get a photo op.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Is it on?
No.
All right, good afternoon. Board members,
Central Services. Thank you for recognizing my boys. First of all, I would like to recognize my girls. We only had 5 players most of the season, but they finished the season and I'm proud of them.
Yeah.
And like special thank you for my coaches. They put in a lot of work. A lot of things go behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know, but they're really good coaches. And I'm also the president of the Roland Middle School Athletic Conference. I've been president for the last 5 years. I wanted to give it up this year, but Dr. Robinson talked me into staying the president. So here I am again. Actually, we have an AD speaking tomorrow about spring sports. So yeah, it's a lot of work managing 5 classes, athletic director of the middle school and the conference. So further ado, the boys basketball roster. My 6th graders. They're gonna be my rock 8th grade year. Jacoby Morgan, guard. Joshua Morgan, guard. Zion Ponton, guard. I tell them, I don't care if you 6th, 7th, 8th grade. You work hard, you get some playing time. I had 2 7th graders starting the whole year for me this year. 7th grade, the tallest one in the school, Elijah Skipwith, forward. Jamari Edwards, forward. He's not here tonight. Timothy White, guard. Xavier Williams, guard. Okay, 8th grade. We have forward, Kayshawn Taylor. Rito Austin, guard. Donna Burgess, guard. Edward Hawkins, center. Hayden Gregory, center. James Scott, center. Myers Person, forward. Najee Wood, guard. Shamir Davis, guard. These guys finished with a 9-1 record, only loss coming to Challenger Middle School, but we beat them the first time. So if we would have had the tournament this year, there probably would have been a championship game. But we had to cancel the championship because of COVID. So all the ADs voted to cancel the tournament. So I had to make the decision to cancel the tournament.
And again, congratulations to our team for their success and thank you. And thank you to all of the community for your support and your continued support in these young athletes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, thank you. Come on, let's give it up for our middle school. We do thank our young men for representing. We do thank our young men for representing Weldon very, very well. Thank our athletic director, Coach Hawkins at middle school, and the coaches that worked along with him for this great success. We certainly appreciate them. And thank you, Ms. Well, she's gone now, Ms. Austin. All right. All right, Ms. Campbell, I think we're ready now. Have our monthly financials and our amendments.
Good evening again. At this time, I would like to present our financial statements for the month of January 2020-22, starting with Special Fund 8. Sorry, Daniel. Our beginning revenues is $286,233.50. Total deposit for the month is $39,804.47, bringing our year-to-date total to $326,037.97. Beginning expenditures is $389,624.86. Total expenditures for the month was $76,073.27. Bringing our year-to-date total to $465,698.13, giving us a net result for the year as of January the 31st, 2022, a negative $139,660.16, bringing our unobligated fund balance to $484,975.24. Current expense. Beginning revenues, $1,402,317.57. Total deposit for the month was $250,569.87, bringing our year-to-date total to $1,657,887.54. Our beginning expenditure is $920,285.41. Total expenditures for the month was $196,785.79, bringing our year-to-date total to $1,117,071.20, giving us a net result for the year as of January the 31st of $535,816.34, bringing our unobligated fund balance to $1,927,084.62. Capital outlay. Beginning revenue is $310,778.63. Total deposit for the month was $10,949.35, bringing our year-to-date total to $321,727.98. Beginning expenditure is $62,491.87. Total expenditures for the month was $17,356.96, bringing our year-to-date total to $79,848.83, giving us a net result as of January 31st, $241,879.15, bringing our unobligated fund balance to $772,004.15. Child nutrition. Beginning revenue is $347,149.57. Total deposit for the month was $42,239.65. Bringing year-to-date total to $389,389.22. Beginning expenditure is $360,824.72. Total expenditure for the month is $50,364.70. Bring your year-to-date total to $411,189.42, giving us a net result as of January 31st of negative $21,800.20, bringing the unobligated fund balance to $253,296.80. Those are your financial statements for the month of January. Are there any questions?
Ms. Campbell, you know how I am when I see red. We waiting on some money on local fund 8, correct?
Yes.
All right.
And our sales tax are behind maybe 3 or 4 months.
Wow. So much. Board members online, do y'all have any comments or questions?
None. No.
Okay.
Our financial statements for the month of February. I'm requesting approval of, and I did have some corrections. I made a couple errors. It wasn't in my totals. It was just in the line where I was increasing. And I gave you corrections on green copies. And that was for 3 amendments. I wanted everything to be equal. I am requesting approval of state amendments 14 through 21. Federal amendments 21 through 24. And current expense amendment number 2. And Mr. Chair, I would like to explain that particular amendment.
Hold on, let me get to it. You said amendment what?
2, current expense amendment 2.
Trying to get there. You said state amendment 2?
Current expense amendment 2.
Current expense, okay.
And what that amendment is, after meeting with Ms. Damery, and we hired a transportation, this is to cover the salary for a transportation director, CTE, and to also allocate transportation director some supplies and material so that we wouldn't have to pull anything from Mr. Turner from the maintenance line item. There is no increase or decrease to the budget. We had some money allocated in local 002 for teachers. When we did the restart conversion this year, we were able to transfer more CTE positions than we had in the past. So we were able to move 2 of our teachers into state 001. So this was money that was already within the budget and we just reallocated to assist to cover those costs.
Gotcha. Board members, do you have any questions on the amendments or corrected amendments? And Mrs. Campbell says State Amendment 19, State Amendment 20, State Amendment 21. They are the corrected copies on the different color paper that.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that we accept the state, federal, and local amendments as presented and corrected.
All right. There's a second.
Second.
Motion has been moved by Ms. Kay Robinson and seconded by Mrs. Bird Robinson that we approve said amendments as they have been presented to us tonight and with the corrected amendment. All right, you heard that motion that has been properly seconded. Any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins? Mr. Williams? Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
And O.D. Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the amendments as they have been presented to us tonight. Thank you, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you.
All right, Mrs. Austin, grants and donations.
I'm here this afternoon at this time to share that Weldon City Schools has received a feminine hygiene products grant in the amount of $5,000, which are state funds from an End Menstrual Poverty Act. We applied for the grant and received, so we're in the process of purchasing the items to be distributed to the schools. On behalf of donations, we would like to thank our community, the Halifax County Health Department, contact person, Miss Betty Macon, not Mason, but it's Macon. She bought us a large amount of masks, N95. The Gregory B. Davis Foundation also donated masks as well as gave us some literature and along with the mask was N95. And we've also received 20 boxes from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. So I just kind of wanted the community to know that we are to say thank you to these individuals that have provided us with those donations.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd just like to ask Ms. Austin if we could look into the needs-based public school capital fund grant that's due March 15th. It will give up to $50 million for our high school renovation. And if I need to resend that, I can. But I think it's need-based, and so I know we meet the qualifications, surely.
Ms. K. Robinson, if you will hold 1 second, you turn the television down just a little bit. We didn't hear all of what you said. We turned the television down just a little bit too much. We're gonna need to get you to repeat that. We heard part of it, but not all of it.
I would like for Ms. Austin to look at, in her committee, to look at the needs-based capital, it's called the Need-Based Capital School, Public School Capital Fund Grant. And it will give up to $50 million for high school and 30, it's 40 for middle school and 30 for elementary school. But I know we need some things done at the high school, and that was a priority for our board. So she could look at that. I know it's a match there, but I'm not sure how much. But if we could look at that to do something at our high school and see if we qualify and can get that in, I would surely appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am, it'll be my pleasure.
Thank you.
So
Go
just
ahead,
to
Trevor.
remind the board, I sent an email a couple of months ago to Glenn Rollins, reminded him about the grant. He said that they were aware of it and they were looking into it. It actually does not have a match. It's one of the great things about it this time. So I did that a couple months ago. I have not heard back from them, but it's a lot to do to apply for the grant. You got to hire an architect. You got to get some draft plans together. So to start now would be a little late. And Northampton started Christmas-ish, and they're doing everything they can to get it all done by March 15th. So anyway, I would just not warn you, but you need to really hop on it quickly if you're going to pursue it.
In saying that, Mr. Williams and myself, some time ago, I do know that we had a meeting and we were looking at some proposed plan. I mean, it was in the preliminary state. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Williams, but it was a layout I think with like 2, maybe 3 different proposals, which, had some land, modification to the building and all of that. So we already had some preliminary.
Well, you had mentioned that at a board meeting a little while back, that the county had met with you had met with some county reps, which is why when I learned of the grant, I reached out to Mr. Rollins to make sure that the county was aware that it's kind of unprecedented money that's available right
Right.
now with no match.
Right.
So if it can be done, and if the county has to approve it too, it's not just your decision.
Right.
But if the county would be willing to support it, it would be a great deal. The other thing is that if I'm not mistaken, the earlier version of this grant, you lost your lottery money for 5 years,
Right.
which is why when we talked to the county a couple of years ago about the grant, they were not as excited about it because they had some debt that they were using the lottery money to pay for.
Right.
But I believe the current version, not only does it not have a match, but you also don't lose your lottery.
Great.
So, it's a lot to do in 30 days. I know the county is doing an RFQ for a design consultant to help them assess the situation. But it's probably worth somebody getting on the phone and trying to move this along quickly, because, it's a lot to do by the deadline. But there's a lot of money at stake. Yeah,
But I-
but
but-
subsequent to that, you guys hired Davis Kane Architect, remember? And they
Right.
did some options.
Right.
And
Your
what-
feasibility study.
Right, and what my memory was that one of the hangups with that was that it was to put the school on the existing site. And I think the commissioners wanted you to look at putting it on the
Down
site
where the
that
middle
they-
school
The
is.
middle school. is.
Right.
And I think that kind of threw the whole concept off.
Correct.
But again, for what you might want to consider to pull this off quickly, if you could get the county engaged quickly, maybe you have Davis Kane update their drawings and submit it. And then, you just got to submit it. You can probably, if you get the grant, decide to move the building, but, you need to get the grant first.
Right. Board, can I ask of you all tonight? You all let us know what you think about that. Mr. Williams and I served on that, and we actually met with the county, the latter part of last year, representation before Mr. Tony Brown retired. We actually had another meeting with them. And of course, since then, Ms. Harrison has been appointed as far as that Building and Grounds Committee. So board, if you all are all right with that, and mentioning what you mentioned, Ms. Kay Robinson, about the grant, if the 3 of us could kind of jump on that and see if we can see where we are, where the drawings are, in collaboration with what Mr. Turner still has and what may still be in the central office and what the county already has. If we can kind of get together and look at that and see what we could do to expedite, at least we would have something, as you say,
Right.
submitted.
Right. So what Davis Kane did was more of a total replacement of the building.
Correct.
On the site. What Height did was more of a renovation. So if you're gonna do this, I would go do a new building.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying,
And again, those drawings, I'll email you Robert Stevenson's contact information. He
Okay.
reached out to me when the county did the RFQ and asked me if he should submit. And I said, "Oh, absolutely, submit," As I told him that the Board of Education was certainly very pleased with the work that he had previously done. And when I heard the county was pleased. So I don't know where they are in that process, but they really don't even have to do that to get this application. They can just have him update what he did before, just get you some new price quotes. You guys will pick one of the 3 or 4 examples we gave you and just get it submitted. All they say is, "Oh, You got 30 days, and this board may need to meet again
We would
at
have
a
to,
special meeting to approve something if you can get it pulled together.
Right. Board members, would you all support us moving forward with that?
Yes.
And if I could, I mean, I know 4 is a quorum, but, you know, y'all help, if we need to call a meeting, I'm just asking for, you know, we need to talk. I know Ms. Kay Robinson, you know, with the grant part, if we need to kind of lean in on it to help, that we could, you know, have her, not a meeting saying to prove anything, but just to kind of get the ball rolling if we could do that. Would y'all support us in at least trying to get that done by the March 15th deadline? We'll give it our best shot anyway.
I mean, it's a lot to do, but you do have some work already started.
Right. And that's to our advantage because we already have some drawings, so they're not like we're trying to screw architect or anything in that respect. All right, so the 3 of us we'll try to get together as soon as possible to see what we can come up with and compare notes and try to go from there, so we can get it in. All right. Thank you so much. Moving on to school health. Miller. Did I miss something? Oh, yes, instructional support. I apologize. Let us get that real quick. Y'all can still come kind of close so y'all won't have so far to cut. My apologies.
No problem.
It's just exciting. You hear grant money in new school. It just it kind of throws you off a little bit. Dr. Carpenter.
Yes. While he's pulling it up, good evening again. I'm here to provide an update to the curriculum and instruction and testing entry plan. February 1st was my first day in Weldon City Schools as the Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction and Testing. And everyone has been extremely helpful and supportive, and I thank you and welcome, you know, my time here. Everyone is so nurturing and family oriented, and I really do appreciate it. Week 1, Ms. Chrissy Martin and I attended the NCASCD conference, which is the North Carolina Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development Conference. We attended a variety of workshops during that time, but the major 2 focuses was on reading and using data to support planning. And we are looking forward to starting this work next month by going into the schools, sharing this information with our teachers, students, and principals, specifically in our professional learning team meetings at the schools and in their school improvement meetings, to share that information that we have gained from that conference with them. In an effort to begin to understand perspectives and needs of various departments, my first priority, of course, which is never ending, is to build and establish those relationships with the focus on assessing, learning, and listening. And so I began that work by meeting with our district leadership team, our cabinet, central office staff, meeting board members, school administration, curriculum, teachers, students, and parents. And that has been very helpful. During week 2, I had an opportunity to tour all the 4 schools with our principals. I received state testing training. I received the Cognia training that I talked to you about earlier. I attended the district school improvement planning training, and that was an opportunity to work with our teachers, principals, and our parents to look at our goals, to reassess our goals, to start building sustainability at our school level for school improvement, and then look at what those practices look like. I've also had an opportunity to continue the process of looking at our multiple data sources, benchmark scores, and look at feedback from our Restart annual report that was completed by DPI. And so I'm looking forward to meeting with the principals to start those discussions to ensure that that feedback is updated in our school improvement team plans and it's aligned. During week 3, I've also met with the principals during our budget meetings with Ms. Austin. Tomorrow, we actually going to meet with Arvec, but we've already met with the other 3 schools in an effort to become familiar with the curriculum, the resources, and the programs that are in place here in Weldon City Schools and the impact that they have on student achievement. I have mentioned alignment a lot because that is really the big focus here at this time, to ensure that curriculum, instruction, and assessments are aligned with fidelity, and just continue to provide the necessary support for our students, teachers, and our principals. And I'm going to stop right there before I continue to see if there's any questions.
Yes, you are the example of the phrase hit the ground running.
17 days.
Any other comments from board members or questions at this point?
All right, so testing and school accountability. So during the month of February, the window for our benchmark assessments it opened in February, Monday, actually, and it will end on the 18th with our high school students taking their benchmarks in our case, with our case website, and our elementary and our middle schools are taking benchmarks with our NC check-ins. So that window opened at February 14th, and it will end on the 18th with makeups. We have ACT work keys. That window will open on the 22nd, and it will conclude on May 6th. That's ACT work keys for our CTE concentrators. We also have ACT testing coming up for all of our 11th graders between March 1st through the 3rd. We will definitely be working with our schools to make sure that happens. That will be a success for our students and our faculty at those schools. And then March 1st through the 4th, all of our 11th graders will be taking the CCRAA and the Extend 1, which for them would be ACT testing as well.
Any questions?
Good evening, board chair, vice chair, interim
Evening.
superintendent, Dr. Sawyer, everybody, all the guests, families, and community members. Professional development, on February 10th, we had 3 professional development sessions going on at the same time. We had letters, unit 1, part 1, and that was a live session by Roger Sopers Learning. We had NC Star training with Mr. Michael Toronto, and that was actually on this part of this facility, of this room. And we had creating and maintaining a welcoming environment by Mrs. Austin and one of her colleagues. The second part of the unit 1 letters training for our K-5 teachers is going to be on February 28th, 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. And then we will have some school-based sessions going on at the same time. AIG updates. We are in the process of writing and developing our 2022 through 2025 plan. The AIG advisory board is meeting, and even if we're not, for members who can't meet, we're still working on the implementation and planning document. For WEGA, we're doing mystery science, coding, critical and thinking projects, and a lot of these are based on the interests of the students. We also have at the middle school, mystery science, coding, and independent projects. They're based on content or interest. We do have 2 students in the 10th grade at the high school who were eligible for the academic pathway for CCP. So as you know, with CCP, if you are a 9th or 10th grader, you're on the CTE pathway, but in order to be on the academic pathway, you do have to be identified as AIG. So we are grateful to have 2 students at the high school who are eligible for grades 9 through 12 is needs-based consultations, ACT prep, and North Carolina School and Science and Math courses. Something that we are doing, and this is for the community, parents, families. We are trying to get a cohort for academies at home by Harvard. What this does is, and I'll send this to the board members so that you can click on these links to see, you know, some of the projects that the students have done, as well as what academies at Harvard are about. But undergraduate students at Harvard actually host academies for students, and they do get a certificate of completion when they're done. So it can be coding, entrepreneurship, business ethics, and a lot of other programs, but it's for high school students only. So I have been sharing this with our grades 9 through 12. So any students who would like to participate, please let me know. I've had a little interest, but we will want to get more students for that. Beginning teacher updates. We still have our weekly coaching sessions for 10 students, and this is with our partnership with the new teacher support program through ECU. Mr. Bradley Sasser is our primary coach. I spoke with him earlier this week. He was leaving the elementary school. Lifestyle discussion. So at our last teacher talk, Ms. Dameron did join us, and we talked about residency plans of studies, course reimbursement. So our teachers are on track. Lesson plan feedback, critical review process, and that's based on our self-assessment. So we're in our resource or in our region, we are reviewing each other's plans to see how we can improve, and essentially monitoring the implementation of our Virginia Teacher Support Program. And this plan is aligned with TCED 016, which is a state policy that mandates what you see bulleted below with the school-based mentors, monthly mentor logs, timeline checklists, etc. And these are just a few pictures of some celebrations at the various schools. Okay, are there any questions?
You've been rolling too.
Okay.
Any questions from board members online?
No.
All right, now. Mr. Miller, Ms. Dagnall.
Good evening, board. Chairman, Vice Chairman, Dr. Sawyer, Ms. Dameron. So COVID testing program as of February 17, 2022. We have 102 students enrolled at WEGA, 40 staff members at WEGA for a total of 142. At the middle school, we have 27 students, 24 staff members for a total of 51. At RVEC, we have 27 students, 7 staff members for a total of 34. And at the high school, we have 36 students, 17 staff members, and for a total of 53 at the high school and 14 at Central Services. District-wide, the total is 294 participants in the COVID-19 testing program. Positive cases for students as of today to the February 17, 2022. At the elementary school, we have 29 positive cases. Middle school, 14, early college, 11, and the high school, 15, for a total of 69 cases for students. And for staff members, as of February 17, 2022. Elementary school, we have 11 positive cases. Middle school, we have 8 positive cases. RVEC, 1, high school, 2, and Central Services, 4, for a total of 26.
So, Mr. Miller, can I ask you a question?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So when you say we have positive cases, some of these cases have been positive, but they've returned either back to the school or back to the workplace.
Yes. Everybody has returned as a one person so far.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh,
Miller.
and one other thing, and we'll share about our changing our testing.
Sure, sure. So I implemented the new strategy as I came forth with the board last month, and from now on, the strategy is working very well, and I split up the team to where we test the Roanoke Valley Early College and the elementary school at the same time from 8 to 10:30, because the bulk of of the people that are enrolled are at the elementary school. So we knock out everybody before around 12:30, 1 o'clock-ish. So RVEC is from 8 o'clock to 9:30, and then we shoot over to the middle school and knock them out from 9:30 to 10:30. And the elementary school is knocked out from 8 o'clock to 10:30, and we shoot over to the high school and merge together and knock them out from 10:30 to around 1 o'clock PM. And usually we're done before 12:30 PM.
Early testing,
Mr.
we'll catch them on Mondays.
Okay.
Before the week starts, in case there's something on the weekend, and I think kind of that's playing with them.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Miller,
Yes, ma'am.
but you're saying that we are able to test throughout the district, including our central services by 1 o'clock on Mondays.
Yes, and the central services have the option of either coming to the early college in the morning time, or if they're unable to make it in the morning time, then they can come over to the high school in the afternoon, depending upon what time they can get away from their offices.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
I want to say thank you. I made that request last month, and I really appreciate you moving forward with that and making that happen for Welland City Schools, students and employees. Thank you. Job well done.
Yes, ma'am. Not a problem at all.
Another question, Mr. Miller. With school closing, of course, in June, will this be something that will be carried over through the summer, or what are our plans for that?
It all depends on you guys. If that's what you guys would like to do, then I will put forth my time and to make sure everything runs smoothly. If not, then we'll just carry on with the normal schedule.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is Mako willing to come, though it will be less staff in the district and students over the summer, or has that conversation been held?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I can get back with you guys later on with that.
Okay.
All right.
And just one other note on the testing, Ms. Stagnell and I did meet with Mr. Robusto, because initially they were not recognizing our Mako testing because it is an antigen test initially. But when we explained to him that anybody that tests positive, then they're given additional testing, and that was submitted to the labs as well. So now we have a process in place where we are communicating directly with Mr. Robusto on a weekly basis, sending those names so that our employees don't have to use their personal leave time in order to cover any days that they may be out. And so we assured him, and he knows that by going, he has access to the testing from the Mako lab.
Right.
So
Direct.
Yes. So we were having some issues before with teachers having to go, people having to go back and get second testing in other facilities. And so we met with him, and he's kind of worked that out for us.
All right.
Mr. Miller. Good evening, everyone. So at this time, we are going to review our current district mask policy. Like I did in the past, I'm just going to read as well what the current policy is. So all K through 12 staff, students, and visitors are required to wear face coverings, face shield / mask
at all indoor settings, including the central office, unless a documented exception exists. Students will receive mask-free breaks during the instructional day in open-air spaces with proper physical distancing between students. Individuals visiting any property belonging to Weldon City Schools or attending school events indoors are required to wear a face covering. All unvaccinated student athletes and coaches are required to wear face coverings while indoors unless documentation of vaccination is provided to the coach or athletic director by the parent, guardian, or individual. Vaccinated student athletes and coaches have the option to wear a face covering while indoors. So at this time, we require the board action for February 17, 2022. Option 1, for our school district to continue with the current policy, or option 2, to amend the current policy.
Any discussion? All right, no discussion?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm assuming people are aware of the governor's,
Yes.
what the governor did today. right?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
But it's gonna be like March 7th, effective, March 7th, the new guidance will be released as well.
I'm fine. I just want to make sure you're really aware of it.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'm making a motion that we go with option 1.
Motion has been moved and properly second to, this is to continue with option 1, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
okay.
Option 1 is continue.
Okay, all right. That we continue with what is currently in place. You heard the motion, it's been proper motion by Mr. Williams and seconded by Mrs. Harrison to continue with option 1. You heard that motion. Any further discussion or unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, let it be known by your voice vote. Mrs. Harrison,
Yes.
Mrs. K. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Bird Robinson,
Aye.
Williams, O.D. Sykes, no. Mrs. Jenkins? Let the record reflect 5-4, 1 against, motion passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, now we're at the spot for discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I have a point of order and a question. Did we receive information from the deep cleaning of buildings from Ms. Dameron? Or was that moved?
It was removed from the agenda because the gentleman did not get me the quotes for that. He was hoping to have that to me by today, and since he did
Okay.
not get it to me, I took it off the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
But we're still working on it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. K. Robinson. All right.
Reverend Sykes, Ms. Bird Robinson, members of the board. It has come to my attention that we are in need of some additional assistance in technology. What we have found out is Mr. Daniel Williams is a technology tech 2. And we have every child and every teacher with electronic device. And he handles most of the work that is working with those devices. And so I wanted to come tonight to ask or have a discussion around adding one additional person to the technology department. It will be a technician, like Mr. Daniel is right now, but he would have some assistance. We're gonna, we looking to build and continue what we need to do with technology. And he just got a lot going on with all the devices and trying to manage everything that we got going on. So it's a lot. So I wanted to ask if you all would approve tonight, if I could start the process of posting, developing a job description with Mr. Williams' assistant, to assistance to have an additional tech 1 or 2 position added to technology department.
I'm in favor. Yes, sir.
question.
I understand what you're saying, Jen. So, but do we have the funds to sustain?
Yes,
through further years?
I think we do. I talked to Ms. Campbell and Ms. Austin. We are looking at, it may require some local funding put to it. I know we can put it in the ESSER grant for now. And like I said, it is a tech person. So the pay scale is probably not as high for those as it would be for your supervisory level people. And so yes, I think we could sustain it. Yes, if you agree with our discussion.
And the reason I was asking, you know, I know I looked from about 5 years ago.
Right, and I'm conscious of that. Ms. Boone. And this is budget season. We've already started to begin to look at the budget, so we're looking at any positions that you have added, so that the life of them, wherever we're looking at the funds from, we want to make sure we can maintain.
Ms. Bird Robinson, you had a question, or did Mr. Williams hit on what you were talking about?
I'm not sure. I couldn't hear Mr. Williams. But funding would be one of my questions. Is that if that's something that we could sustain? And then the second question that I have is, as far as, I know you said you're going to develop a job description for that person. But in that person, I know we had talked about something about a person providing some support and training at the school level.
Well, and I've talked to Dr. Carpenter about this.
Mhm.
There in your ESSER plan,
Mhm.
there are several positions that you had that were supposed to be instructional technology. This is not the same that we're looking at. This is actually, I call it the nuts and bolts for the hardware that we've got going on. But Dr. Carpenter is going to assess what she feels like she needs in terms of the positions that are in ESSER, and it may be an amendment we may have to do when she decides and determines what that need is. I think she's been very careful and methodical about not just filling it based on what it was written in the grant. And so to prevent too much amending of those grants, we want to make sure. And if you remember, we had three, I forgot what they were, 3 positions posted when I first got here that we didn't have anybody applying for. So we stopped advertising those, and those funds are still there as well.
Interventionalist.
Interventionalist, that's correct. I think what the vision for that was, it did not materialize as a useful role in the schools because we were paying teachers for tutoring. And so we stopped advertising those. And so those funds can be reallocated to some other area. And when Dr. Carpenter finishes determine what is need in terms of how to support the in curriculum with the technology, then we'll make a decision about that. And I will tell you, any positions that we create, if they are grant positions, we want to make sure people know that as we post or advertise them. So we're not going to just put positions in your budget that you can't sustain, but at the same time, while we have those resources, we want to make sure that we can utilize them in a very beneficial way to our students and our teachers.
So I guess my concern would be, because we know when the pandemic hit, everything changed. So to be proactive, can that person also do like some training, or, because of course we know technology is constantly changing, but do some training for or classroom support for our teachers and for our students and our central office level and for the board, because what we don't want is to go back to where we were when COVID hit, and we're having to figure out all these things. So I think some support for, like I said, if we're asking the students to do it, then as admin of the district, school board members of the district, and support for the teachers, because again, things are changing. Is that something that that person can also support all of us in?
Yes, absolutely. Those nice bags that we gave you as gifts, we're gonna get you to the place where you're gonna have, your device with you. And we will not continue to try to use paper once you all get very comfortable. So we've already talked about it with Dr.
Wonderful.
Carpenter about having sessions
Yes.
to go as slow as we need to go to get our teachers and
Mhm.
our board members to the place where they're very comfortable with the technology. You've got a Chromebook tonight. There's also that has already been purchased for you, a laptop. So we want you as proficient as you need to be, just like we need our teachers, and our students. So yes, Ms. Bert Robinson, we want to provide staff development along the way, continue. And if you think about hiring new teachers, if Google Classroom is the platform that we're using for our technology, we've got to keep offering that over and over and over again as new people come into the district. So we're building the capacity so that we'll have ways of training. Ms. Martin can be ensured that her beginning teachers, when we bring them on, that's an expectation that our new teachers will be able to do. So yes, that whole 3-man department will have the responsibility of training and or keeping all of our technology running.
And our families may want, some additional training on that.
When we get that nice pre-K center going, we can have a professional development center where parents can come in and we can have technology sessions there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, action will be required if we want to move forward with this, with the understanding that this is grant funded at this time. And as we install our attention to, we want to make sure that we don't expend or extend ourselves with our current expense or our local fund. Any further discussion? All right, if not, a motion will be in order that we approve the posting of that position, and Ms. Dameron will work out along with assistance of Mr. Daniel Williams as far as the job description for that particular position.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the additional technician position.
Second.
Motion has been moved by Ms. Kay Robinson and seconded by Mrs. Bird Robinson that we approve the addition of the technician position. You heard the motion, or the additional technician position. You heard the motion that has been properly seconded. Any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Ms. Bird Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Kay Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Jenkins, Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
O.D. Sykes, yes. Record reflect unanimous approval of the additional technician position.
Next item under discussion is teacher assistants driving buses. We're always in need of increasing the drivers that we have. You all don't have a policy in place where you require it to be like dual employment for your classified staff. But so our teacher assistants are already being paid for a 40-hour day. So when they drive a bus, a 40-hour week, I'm sorry. Oh, gosh.
8 hours.
I know it's been a long one. 8-hour day, 40-hour week. And so when we need them to drive a bus, one of several things has to happen. Now, they should not be driving the bus without approval because it is affecting their pay. If they're already being paid for an 8-hour day, we could back out their bus time and narrow that day down so that they wouldn't get 8 hours for the teacher assistant. They might get 6 hours for a teacher assistant and then an hour on the front, hour on the back for a bus driver. That's at a different rate, but it keeps them within that 8-hour day requirement. That's one thing we could do. The second option that we could do is we could pay them overtime. So they were already being paid for the 8 hours a day. And if they drive a bus, that is time and a half, because they would have already met their 40-hour-a-week, the cap that they can make. So we choose to pay them overtime if you choose to so do so. And then the third option would be, we could decide, that we could make it a requirement of all of our classified staff that they could get CDLs, and we could use them as bus drivers, and it would be a part of a dual enrollment piece. So that when we hire anybody to fill those positions, it would be an understanding that they would be expected to get CDLs and drive our buses. We've got a case already, a couple of case situations where I recognize things happen with people, and so Mr. Freeman and Mr. Tillery have found themselves in need of bus drivers, and so teacher assistants or other classified staff have driven a bus. But I think it's time we need to figure out how we're gonna continue that, because now it's gonna cost additional money. Or if you so choose, that's fine, but we just want to get some clarification on the choice of the board. Is it to pay the overtime, or to take that 8 hours and include the bus time and pay it a different rate?
Processing all of that. So they were appointed from all board members. Personally, I don't think it should be a part of anybody's job description. If you go with the third option, you're basically saying you can't get hired
Unless you can drive.
unless you can drive a bus. And I don't think we need to establish that type of protocol. And then, secondly, I don't think it's fair that we penalize a classified person or a TA, in the respect of what you're talking. They work an 8-hour workday. If they, have CDLs and they can drive a bus, I think that should be an added, benefit. Hopefully that will build morale to help keep them in the district. So I think if they do have bus license and they're gonna drive a bus, their teacher assistant or classified person, I feel like they get their 40 hours, that should be considered, an extra incentive, because really what we would have is a person that could be classified or a TA and also serve if needed, to drive a bus. And then I think you would have more consistency, more dependability, because you got your TAs in the school, they already know the students, and then if they're driving the bus, I think that's less that a child would start to act up because they seeing the person in school, on the bus. I think it would be an added benefit if we did that. That's me.
I totally agree. Even if, say, the teacher's workday is from 7:30 to 3:30, and then you start paying them on the bus after the 3:30 piece. But regardless, I feel like they need to get paid. If they're gonna drive that bus, they need to be paid for that time.
And the problem, just so we're clear, the situations when I'm not saying situation, but the current thing that is taking place is we as a board have not approved whether they could, have the overtime. And that's, really what we have to do. And then that gives clear cut instruction to Ms. Dameron, going forward, you can do this, but, and we know that it would be limited because we're not trying to, take the bus drivers and give it to the TA. But if we need drivers and a TA is available to do it, then I think that should be an extra incentive. I think it will help us keep more of our employees too.
Now, I do want to say that Mr. Tillery and Mr. Freeman are looking for bus drivers. So if we can add additional bus drivers on every turn, then that would eliminate any of this. But this is in a case, like you said, an emergency. And I've told them, don't just do this on a whim. We kind of need to know and watch this. So we don't want any one of the classified employees to assume that they're going to be driving a bus and making the overtime.
Well, I agree with that. But if they can handle a bus route, I think if we have them within, that, I mean, if they could handle the bus route, as Ms. Bird Robinson said earlier, you know, when to start and work day in. I mean, I don't have any problem with that either, because you have consistency, but I think it would just help us establish a protocol. You know, whether they had a permanent bus route or whether they were filling, you know, that would, we would have something in black and white.
But we definitely need subs. So having, you know, our classified people to support us definitely is beneficial for us, because it's been several years ago that, you know, we wanted them to go and get their bus license to be able to support, you know, our school district. So if they have it, we certainly want to utilize it.
Mr. Reed.
Mr. Chair, I think that the individual driving the bus, that's classified teacher system.
We can't hear Mr. Williams.
I think that if we have can you hear me?
Yes, now. Mhm.
Okay. I think that using a teacher assistant is okay on substitute basis, not on a permanent. I don't think anyone should be a TA should have the responsibility every day of they're gonna work full time as a TA, and then I have a bus route. I think that Mr. Tillery and Mr. Freeman, they only call on them as the last resort. And hopefully, you know, get some bus drivers. But right now, especially with the pandemic, bus drivers out, we having the double up route, triple up route, students getting left, students getting put off at the wrong place. I don't think it's worth the money that we can save in terms of keeping our community happy, as well as keeping those assistants happy too, to get that extra pay we can see. So I would just say on a substitute basis, not on a permanent, so they can get paid.
Any other discussion? They were like fill-ins from what? I
Yeah,
understood.
and that's what I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't, it's not a permanent route. But he's exactly right. People were out with COVID, different people out with different things, and so it turned into like they've been driving like a week, then another week. So when we got rid of it, and it came into light with payroll, we were looking at why were these people making, what was the problem? And so when I met with Mr. Tiller and Mr. Freeman, we decided, okay, we need to address this so that we can, before the public and everybody know what the expectation is. And so the goal is, there are several people that, we got lots of names on our bus list, but they haven't fulfilled all of the requirements, like taking the classes that need to be taken. And they're going to be meeting with the Halifax community, Halifax Board of Education, I think, over there, to see about the classes being virtual. So we hope that'll be an incentive to make people want to drive, you know, take the classes a little bit faster, because they were all face-to-face initially. And so, yeah, it had gone on for some weeks. And so I want to make sure that we can clarify.
And I can, as you just said, Ms. Blair, I can support it, you know, if it's not on a permanent basis. My main thing, I just want to get in place. If a teacher assistant, we don't penalize their 8-hour workday, but if they have to drive the bus, you know, filling in, you know, 2 or 3 days or whatever it is, that we, you know, we do pay them though. I can support that. I think that's a happy medium. Any further discussion? All right, then, from what I have gathered, the motion would be is to allow our teacher assistants to be substitute, or our classified teacher assistants or classified person to be substitute drivers. And if they're working an 8-hour day, that they would be paid overtime, especially our teacher assistants. Well, any classified person, I say it that way. I'm just specifying teacher assistant, but that's this particular situation.
So moved.
that's why I said teacher
Classified.
assistant, because we were actually saying, you know, because that's the particular situation that we're looking at now. It deals with teacher assistant, but that's why I say classified. So if it was custodian, if they would have an 8-hour work day.
Now, I'm sorry, but I will put out there that we try not to bother child nutrition. That is a very last resort. Because she's already short-handed and short-staffed as it is, so we won't bother you, Ms. Garner, to make sure that she can get her child nutrition duties taken care of.
Let me say this thing. If we say classified position, I think it should be in the purview, you know, the superintendent working with the transportation director, you know, as far as who it is. And then, you know, they can get, you know, Ms. Campbell. Right, sure, sure.
That was the issue. Time sheets are not. Have on the budget, so, and, yeah.
Gotcha.
They have to make sure that. Because if not, you have to be dark on the TA.
Got it. All right. So everybody understand what the motion needs to be, right? I thought I heard somebody, Ms. K. Robinson, who was it? Ms. K. Robinson? What did you?
Yes.
Yes.
I said so moved.
Second.
All all right. She didn't want to repeat everything I just said. All right. The motion is that we approve our classified persons, and of course, it will be in the purview of superintendent transportation director of paying the overtime for our classified persons if they work an 8-hour day. Would that sum it up? Or do I need to go further? Attorney?
I think that's good. I mean, basically, you're just authorizing them to work overtime.
Okay. Yeah. All right, you heard the motion that was moved by Ms. K. Robinson and seconded by Mrs. Bird Robinson. Any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yeah.
Ms. Jenkins?
Yes.
Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
O.D. Sykes, aye. Record reflect unanimous approval. Motion carries. All right. See?
In one of the meetings, you had, it may have been the December meeting. You had a discussion about the additional signatures on your Level City School checks. Well, you will be establishing some different signatures in the next few days to come. While that was a discussion, I don't know if you all reached any decision. And so I wanted to confirm with Ms. Campbell how she should proceed with the new signatures that we are about to get approved.
And this was about the board chairperson, whoever that is, being the third person. Or is
Yes,
it not
yes.
taking in the
Not taking
superintendent?
anything
Right,
off, but
okay,
we had a discussion about adding a third signature.
correct. Okay, I'm with you. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
So what we're saying. is that if we have an interim superintendent, then keep a finance, they will sign. And third person, may be chair, whomever, will only sign when those two people are not available. Are you just saying that chair can sign in lieu of?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get.
But both signatures would remain, and the chairperson would be the third signature on the check. So you would never take your finance officer or your superintendent off.
But you're saying,
You,
but you would need a third signature?
Okay, so let's just back up for, if you don't mind.
oh, yeah, sure.
So, first of all, let's remember, people aren't literally signing checks.
Right.
They're,
Right.
the machines just sign.
Right.
Okay. So the question is, what names are going to appear on the check? By statute, the superintendent needs to appear and the finance officer needs to. Those are the statutory positions that have to sign. So that's gonna happen regardless. If you don't do anything, when Dr. Sawyer starts on March 1, they'll issue a new, they'll change it all around so that as soon as possible, his name will appear on the check with the finance officer. Although your last name is. So that's gonna be a whole separate issue. And that is something maybe the board needs to think about that we didn't think through fully is what happens in that interim, because you do need a finance officer. Yeah. So you may need to think about appointing an interim finance officer before March 1 to stop. So anyway, that's gonna happen regardless, it'll just happen. The discussion is whether to add a third signature, which I understand appears on some school system checks. You will see the board chair signature there along with the other two signatures. So the question is whether to have your checks now include, in addition to the superintendent and the finance officer that will have to be there, the board chair. Again, it has nothing to do with who's in the office because the checks are stuff,
Right.
right? So it's not like who's here, who's not here. It's just, do you want to change the current process of having two names and then switch it to three? Right. Did I get that right?
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
it. You hit it. Hit the nail on the head.
But you gotta do something, you'll be doing something in the next weeks anyway.
Right, and that's where you're bringing it up,
Right,
because you're
I'm-
gonna have to do
There you go.
something at a minimum to add Dr. Sawyer's name and to take, Mrs.
Right.
Dameron's name off.
Right.
In the next little bit.
Right.
Brother Chair,
Yes, sir.
in light of that, then I think it only needs to be two. Superintendent, and only super-
Can't hear Mr. Williams again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said,
You got to lean in that mic, man.
Well, let's say you Mr. Wynn.
I said, I am in agreement with only two names being on the checks, the superintendent and the finance officer. Or rather, it's a permanent superintendent or permanent finance officer. If it's an interim, those two names should be the only ones on our checks. Did you hear me?
Loud and clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, we'll move on to letter D. No action is required because nothing has changed. So we move
Wait,
on.
there was no motion.
Right,
Correct.
yeah, I said no action is required.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Letter D.
Oh.
Yeah. Mr. Williams.
I had some questions about Andy Jackson. First of all, I received a call about the Underground Railroad. And one of the places where they were talking about with the canal trail was in the back of Andy Jackson. And they were, a person asked me, did we want to sell any part of that so they could park and build a museum there? Which I told them I had no idea that was something they had to come to the board. So I just told them I would bring it up, and I did tonight. But also in terms of Andrew Jackson, on two separate sources where Andrew Jackson through Representative Michael Ray, was something with the General Assembly where they had up there Anthony Jackson purchase site for $50,000. And then it had purchase, site improvement for Anthony Jackson for $150,000. I don't know where all of this is going. I told him we had made no decision. What I was told was 6 letters of communication had been sent to Weldon, and they hadn't heard anything except for maybe once. Now, I just told them with all the transition we had going on, there's no telling. But I know in our meeting, we only talked about it once. Now, I didn't share with them what was said or anything, but I do think we need to look into what's going on with the property and the Jackson. I don't know if somebody gonna try to do it eminent domain or what Representative Ray did. He could just do it in the General Assembly and property be gone. I think that's something we need to look into.
This is definitely something that,
Williams, let me begin with saying this. Of course, Mr. Williams shared with us, but we didn't know of some kind of pamphlet or something that he actually received or was given to him. I don't know how it was. He picked it up. Anyway, I know you had it. And it was shocking to us. And I will, unless board members change their mind, it was my understanding when we had our retreat in September, we came from the retreat saying we were not getting rid of any property that Weldon City School District owned. The pre-K building, nor were we going to get rid of Andrew Jackson. We unanimously said that it was not for sale. We were not selling it. We were gonna hold on to it as long as possible. Understanding that some things have happened at Andrew Jackson, it has been mentioned about doing, getting some grant funding to actually rehab it or do what needs to be done to put something there. And I hope, and since Mr. Williams and I'll say this, and we'll get conversation from other board members, the financing, that grant that we're talking about, I don't know if that would permit us.
I don't think it can be used for that.
Okay, if it will not, but something, we definitely will need to be looking at that as well. And I know Attorney Malone, I've talked to him several times, and I've told him, because I think one of the lawyers that represents that, I have made it explicitly clear to Attorney Malone that the board said from September up until now that we were not selling that property. And he was heavily involved, the particular lawyer heavily involved with the Underground Railroad. So, I don't understand what, and our attorney.
I don't mention it anymore.
Yeah, I know you don't, but I'm just saying, and I don't know, Mr. Williams, because I don't know who the person was, and I ain't asking you to call no name, but I'm just saying, from the legal side, our lawyer has contacted the lawyer that's working with them time after time and told them the position of the board was they were not interested in selling. And I don't know, because, we're talking legal, if we're gonna sell it, we got to go through legal process. You got to go through the county commissioners and deem it as surplus. You got to give them the first opportunity to buy, things of that nature. And I've told, as we have discussed, Attorney Malone relayed to the lawyer that the board was not interested in selling. And at this point, I haven't seen the need or the necessity, unless you all direct me and, Mr. Williams at this point, when it isn't Mr. Williams with who the board assigned to actually talk about this
You
was.
created a committee.
Right, what was myself, Ms. Bird Robinson, and Ms. Hale.
Yeah.
And after the board said that we were not selling any property in September, really, why would I sit down and try to meet? The board made it perfectly clear that we won't sell it.
Yeah, because before September, we were talking about trying to schedule a meeting.
Exactly.
To meet with we were talking about trying to schedule a meeting I'm not sure if he's on, but to schedule a meeting to meet with Mr. Armstrong and whatever group with the Underground Railroad he wanted to bring to at least discuss with you possible uses of the property. But then, you met in September at the retreat and that was gonna be-
Right, so, you know,
But, Mr. Chair, my only concern is, it's not like it was something that was done in secrecy or in privacy or the communication. One was in the tourism magazine, which I got at the courthouse when I went down there to register to run. The second was in the Daily Herald, I believe, which was January, I think it was January the 21st. But they had a picture and then they had a notation of everything that Representative Ray had done. So
Right.
it's out there in the open.
You're right.
Where it's coming from, I don't know, but I think it's something we need to check in. Like I say, it was done, the county commission were not involved.
Correct.
From there, it was through the general assembly.
Correct. And please understand, I was not, as the, you know, executive chairperson, I was not filibustering time or anything. I just, when the board said we weren't gonna sell it, it wasn't nothing else to talk about. We said we were keeping all the property, and Attorney Malone was in the meeting, and he's relayed that 2 times to Mr. Armstrong. I know 2 times because you had me on the email.
Right.
If possibly it could be more than that, could be 3 times.
Right.
But you know, I was just following the direction that the board, that I left our September retreat with what the board said. And I mean, that's where we've been. But now, to your point, Mr. Williams, something has to be said more definitively. So this stuff will kind of stop. So I agree with that. We need to, you know, relay some way, form, or fashion the board's position, you know, has not changed. We still say, and board members have, Mr. Jenkins, have you changed? You still at the same spot? Our pre-K Billy, Andrew Jackson, we keeping, right? Ms. Harrison, Mr. Williams?
No. There's a loophole somewhere though, where they're gonna have it. Somebody's gonna have that name. There's a loophole somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I don't disagree with you that, you know, things are going to probably, you know, people gonna try, but I'm just talking about where we are right now. And again, to your point, we may even need to have a meeting now, at this point, just to, you know, go ahead and say what it is. Ms. Bird Robinson, Ms. Kate Robinson, you all are still at the same spot?
Has not changed, but Ms. Kay Robinson has been talking about this the last couple of months with us, and something we needed to do. You know, we needed to look at something with Andrew Jackson because of some things that she had already seen or information that had been shared with us.
Right.
So
I've even found grant funds. I've already found grant funds for us to start doing some things on that property. I don't know what they need the property for because there are already markers out there on the trail for the Underground Railroad already. And that's been going on 2-3 years now. So I don't know why they would need our property for that. There are already markers in place. They were put in place when Weldon's markers were put in place.
Okay.
But I've already forwarded a grant to Miss Austin to start for us to even start looking at doing something there. But we need to move forward with it. And this is not new. I said this, I know 100 times.
Okay. Can we do this, Attorney Malone? We'll have some conversations so we can get to the bottom of this. And Mr. Williams, again, to your point, if we should have to have this meeting, but I just want the board to understand clearly, we didn't move forward on anything because when we had the retreat in September, the board said unanimously not to sell any property. So, but we're gonna have to get back. And Attorney Malone, we'll
Well,
talk.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I guess the only question is, given that the legislature's kind of gotten involved with appropriating some money for it is even knowing your position on it, does it make sense to sit down and just hear what people are talking about doing with the property? Or is that not even?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
think-
you say maybe do that?
Right.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying. We may need to do that.
Oh,
to
that's
see,
what you're saying, do.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
what it is, but I'm
Right.
saying,
Right,
because
okay.
you basically facilitated between the lawyer that works with them and you as our lawyer.
Correct.
Because he reached out to
You
you.
reached out to me. You know, and theoretically, I mean, what he said he was trying to do is just to at least explain what they had in mind. I mean,
Right.
he recognized that you still have to make a decision yourselves about selling it,
Sure.
but he at least wanted to try to explain to you what they had in mind. And there may or may not be an upside in at least hearing about what they might do with it.
We'll try to facilitate that. All right. Any other question or comment with Andrew Jackson Brown?
All I have to say is whatever grant funds have been appropriated, I'm sure Weldon City Schools also can get those same grant funds.
All right. I don't think we need a break unless y'all want one.
No.
All right, let's keep rolling. Public forum, I think, Ms. Damon, do you- Mrs. Regina Brooks, for public forum. Good evening, Ms. Brooks. You have 3 minutes for your public comment tonight. Time will begin when you start.
Would you please speak up?
You have 3 minutes for your public comment tonight. Time will begin when you start.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I thank God that He allows me to pray before speaking at these public forums. Tonight, I'm also very thankful because I write things down, but when I get up, the Holy Spirit says, oh, no, you're not going to do it your way. You're going to do it my way. And I'm so thankful to be obedient, whether it's 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 second. I thank God for Winston-Salem State University, for East Carolina University. I thank God for Martin County Schools, a beginning. I start out by saying to all the employees, bring your children and your relatives, your grandchildren, enroll them in school here. Then I think we will have a first-class Weldon City Schools. If you don't have any, adopt somebody. God, good, and respect is all around us. Yet it takes practice and it takes each of us being receptive and honoring them. Respect is earned, it is not given. For the children, don't be so well adjusted to your culture, your school board, that you fit in without even thinking. There is a price to pay. Some say it's not our business to judge people because we do the right thing, but it is our business if we become like them. I thank God for Dr. H.C. Hudgens from East Carolina University. I mentioned him to you before, my school law professor. And I just learned recently that he died in 2004. And I told you how he said the day will come when a doctorate degree is not worth the paper it's written on. And he also said, Ms. Brooks, our Mrs. Brooks, we will become so technologically sound that we won't even think about the children. We will be so top heavy and we will be driven by technology. I admonish you to think about the children.
I am so thankful for the opportunity to have been a busload of students from West Martin School that were demanded to go to Oak City School in 1971. But the farmers said, oh no, not our children. Thank you, Jesus, for farmers. And then I'm so thankful to be in the class of the first kindergartners in the state of North Carolina with 31 students. Thank you, Jesus, because when I return to Martin County now, we miss you all, which tomorrow will be Dr. Brooks' birthday. You know, we know that you were there. We know what you did. We know about your husband. We know about your son, but most importantly, we know what you did for us. Where I'm going, Weldon City Schools, I'm sorry, I can't answer to you. I answer to the one above. You can't go with me. I ask you to pray, do the best you can, because you have to give an account. And the way people are dying these days, Lord have mercy. I said, Jesus, let me be your servant and I will do your will. So to all who are here, do what you have to do because you have to give an account. Don't say you didn't hear it. I'm just the messenger. Thank you so much. Anything else I have for you? And I'm not giving you any handouts. I'll send them to you later. And for you new people who are here, trust me, if you don't hear from anyone else, you will hear from me. When the Holy Spirit says, speak, I speak. If it says be quiet, I be quiet. And at this time, it's telling me to be quiet and bid you good night.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. All right, we're moving now to item 8, our consent agenda. We have 3 things now on the consent agenda. Purchase order for water coolers, our fall policy, our fall 2021 policy updates, which this is the second read. And also item C, purchase of 2 work trucks. And Ms. Dameron does have some information concerning the work trucks to share with us.
Yes, Mr. Freeman was very instrumental in working on these 2 projects for us. We are asking for approval of 2 trucks. They are coming from Auto Sales of Farmville. It is a 2013 Ford F-150 for $18,104.72. The other one is a 2014 Ford F-150, and they both are white. And that one is $16,250.72. And they both are under the cost that we had budgeted was $20,000 per vehicle. And Mr. Freeman was able to find us 2 vehicles under our budgeted costs. The gentleman brought them over to us. Let's take a look at them. Monday, Monday. And so we had opportunity to look at them and people walk around them and make sure that they were presentable. So we're asking for you to approve these vehicles for us tonight.
And the signs are going to be put on them that says,
Yes,
well,
there will be signs placed on them before they move off of our property that says Weldon City School. Yes, ma'am. 2013 Ford F-150, $18,104.72. And the 2014 $16,250.72.
Yes, sir. What would be the reason for the 2013 costing more than the 2014? Is it the mileage or what?
I think it's the mileage, is not the sprint.
Mileage.
what's the mileage of both vehicles, Mr. Freeman? You know that right off.
I got it, Mr. Freeman. 2013, the miles on it is 132,137.
And on the 2014, the mileage is 174,552. Extended cab pickup for the
Are they diesel or
gas.
okay? All right, any other questions? If you all are satisfied with this, a motion would be in order to approve these stated consent agenda items. Guess this was our 2-minute break. I thought we said skip it. Motion is in order.
If I could just add that, I know one of these vehicles will be to get one of our employees out of the personal vehicle.
Make the motion that we approve the consent agenda of purchase of these items.
Includes the water
That
cooler and
includes
and
the-
the policy read
Yes.
also.
That includes the water cooler and the policy. vision.
Let this motion die for lack of a second. Thank you so much. Motion has been moved by Mrs. Harrison and seconded by Mrs. Jenkins that we approve the 3 stated consent agenda items, purchase order for water coolers, fall 2021 policy update, second read, and the purchase of the 2 work trucks as the information has been shared with us. You've heard that motion that has been properly seconded. Is there any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Ms. Bird Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. I didn't hear you. Ms. K. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Williams? Ms. Jenkins? All right, let the record reflect unanimous approval of those consent agenda items. Next on our agenda is approval of closed session personnel recommendations.
Mr. Chair. Make a motion to approve closed session recommendation.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been moved by Mr. Williams and seconded by Mrs. Jenkins to approve closed session personnel recommendations. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Mrs. Bird Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. K. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Jenkins, Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
No D Sykes, yes. Let the record reflect unanimous approval of the recommendations that were presented in closed session. All right, item 10 is board comments. Mrs. Bird Robinson, do you have comments tonight?
No.
All right. Ms. K. Robinson, comments tonight?
Of course. Ms. Dammer, I want to say thank you for your hard work and all you have given to Weldon City Schools. And we look forward to you coming back and helping us out in another capacity in a little while. And I want to say thank you to all our parents and our stakeholders for choosing Weldon City Schools. And I think that's about it. Have a good night.
All right. Ms. Jenkins, do you have any closing comments?
No.
Ms. Harrison?
No.
Mr. Williams?
No, I just had to say, thank you, Ms. Demerara, on your leadership and taking this task on. Also, I would like to say welcome to Dr. Sawyer. If you stepping in and going through this transition period.
All right, and I'll close it out. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Dr. Sawyer will be joining us the next month's board meeting. You will see him beside me rather than Ms. Dameron. So just saying that, of course, Ms. Dameron is not going off the scene just yet, but certainly I will solicit or just ask for you to keep her in your thoughts. She has something that she has to take care of next month, so just keep her in your thoughts and in your prayers. Also along those lines, let me say that this is the last meeting in this capacity, unless Ms. Campbell decides to do otherwise. She's planning on retiring. Ms. Campbell, please stand. We want to thank you. I don't know if we can get a few more months out of her. I had a conversation with her today. I said, Ms. Campbell, can't you give us 4 months and leave at the end of the school year? And I said, I ain't asking you for 4 years. I said 4 months. But whatever her decision would be, want to thank you for your years of service. You're from this community. And if it is your wish to let February 28th be your last day, we say early on in advance, happy retirement. And if you should decide to have those 4 months, you know, you can, as Ms. Dameron said, as long as you have not gotten your first check from the state, you can always pull it back. Also, Ms. Did she leave? Ms. Dagnallen, she's planning to go to another area of service. This is her last meeting as well. And I'm saying this because they are key people in our central office. So I wanted to give special attention to those individuals tonight, along with Ms. Dameron. Ms. Dagnallen, if you would stand, we thank you for your time here. And well done as well, and certainly hope the best for you in your next endeavor. Thank you so much. Thus ends all of the board comments.
Reverend Sykes.
Yes.
Excuse me, I do have something I need to say. I want to, of course, just kind of reiterate what you just said, Ms. Dagnallen. We certainly appreciate you being a part of our family, and Ms. Campbell being a part of our family for a long time. Also, is Mr. Hawkins still there? AD at the middle school? Okay. Well, if you will, Ms. Dameron, Ms. Dameron, if you will share with him tomorrow that we certainly appreciate all that he did and all of his coaches have done to support our students. And I'm sure that Coach Lynch will be welcoming them with open arms next school year, those 8th graders over to the 9th grade for basketball, since they had a great year as scholars and as athletes. Miss Dameron, really hate to see you go. Haven't been with us a long time, but you have made a lasting impression on Weldon City Schools. I certainly mean that as a graduate of Weldon City Schools and as a former teacher in the district, and now as a board member. You have really made a difference in the Weldon City Schools community family. Certainly hate to see you go, but thank you for everything that you have done for us.
Nothing else?
No,
Or
sir,
tonight?
right?
Oh, hold on, man. Come on there. Let me say it. All right, go. Mr. Williams has already motioned to adjourn and he ain't gonna take it back. Is there a second? It has been motioned by Mr. Williams and seconded by Mrs. Harrison that we adjourn our meeting for tonight. You heard that motion. Any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, I'm not gonna ask for your voice vote. Everybody just say aye. Aye. Any opposed, you can stay here. Ayes have it, so ordered.